Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. And welcome back to the Operation Hill 100 Heart channel where we do what? Focus on healing human right hot motherfucking topics. Let's run this shit back. Let's run this. Oh my God. Let's run this back. Let's run this back. Let's run this back. Now, as I said to you guys, I wanted to tie this whole Young Thug Big Bank interview up because again, I did what needed to be done and I watched all 3 motherfucking hours. So I put a playlist together on my page. You guys can go to that playlist and watch all 3 videos of my rendition of this 3 hour, my recap, I'm sorry, of this 3 hour interview and what I got from it. So now we are on part number 3. Let's run it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, while you are here waiting, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Please hit the thumbs up on this video. Please hit the thumbs up on this video. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into it. Okay, this is part 3 of Perspective with Bank. And this is the Young Thug interview. So it started off with remember it left off. I'm sorry, I left off on the part when Young Thug, when Bank was basically telling Young Thug that something can be hard, but it doesn't have to make it impossible. Right. And then Bank kept it real when he was like, listen, the first steps is acknowledging what you're growing through, right? Y'all know I always say what you're growing through because on the other side there is growth, right? So in any event, he was like, you know, you got to do the self-work. You have to do the self-work. He said, I had to do the self-work myself. He was like, and one of the things that I learned about doing the self-work is that everybody thinks, everybody feels, everybody acts different. I could have all the logic in the world for why I think somebody did something and what it means when they did it. But at the end of the day, I have to keep in mind, no matter what I think, feel, know, or even want to share, everybody is different. And that's the reality of the situation, right? So he said, it seemed like to me you loved everybody, right? You love the nigga on the east, you love the nigga on the west, you love the nigga on the north, you love the nigga on the south. And what you tried to do was bring everybody together that you loved. He was like, and the only issue with that is that you bringing folks together who you don't even know if they like-minded. You don't even know if they'll get along. Shit, you don't even know if they're gonna love each other. You just know that you all love them. So you brought them together and you tried to help them as best you could, but you have to remember, just like I have to remember, this is what Big Bank is saying, is that everybody is different. And when a situation took place like this whole incarceration thing and this whole RICO and all of that situation, you saw how different everybody was. You know, whether you agree with who they are or not, that's the reality of the situation, right? And I'm not gonna lie to you, I because when I was watching the other 2 parts and they was talking about Gunna, remember I kept saying in my other thing, my other recaps, I was like, well, I mean, I ain't really see him get emotional, but this part, you seen it. You seen it. You seen it. When Big Bank said that about, you know, basically like everybody is different. And when the shit hit the fan, you see the difference in everybody from you and everybody else. And Thug looks heartbroken. Thug looks heartbroken. He looked heartbroken. Like it seemed like, you know how like somebody is constantly trying to tell you something, but they telling you subliminally, so you're not really getting it. And then when they tell you directly, you get the feeling like, oh shit, so this is what you've been trying to say all along. That's what I got from Thug. I felt like the way Banks said it at that time, it just hit him. It just hit him, right? And he looked heartbroken. He looked heartbroken. I felt so bad, right? And then that's when the tears started coming. That's when the tears started coming because Young Thug really cannot accept, I'm sorry, he cannot accept that no matter how he think, no matter what he did for the people, like none of the above, he cannot accept that everybody is different and not everybody thinks or moves like him. Right. And he kept saying things like, I help raise these niggas, these are my brothers, you know. And Bank was like, I get all that, bro. I get all of that. I get everything that you're saying, and I'm not wrong, and you're not wrong in how you feel. But you have to keep in mind that everybody is different. And I think the tears came from, I don't want to believe that. I don't want to go with that. I don't want that to be okay. And Bank basically was like saying, what you want to do? Right. And Thug, I just want to say one thing, right? This is the only thing that I'm kind of struggling with, right? Remember you was in there being chatty patty, right? On that phone and running your mouth and so on and so forth, right? For the things that you said about the people you claim you love, you said something about Future, you said something about Drake, like you just was in there running your mouth, right? You want those people to understand that you were in a bad space. You weren't trying to be malicious. You just were stressed out, yada, yada, yada. But you want them to forgive you and move on. That's the impression that I get. But you don't want to have that same grace for Gunna. And the same way how you feel like you were wronged, if all those other people want to carry it the way you carrying it, then you would be in the same seat as Gunna, just under different circumstances. So my thing is like you holding on to this for him, but also wanting to be forgiven for your transgression sound crazy to me. Like you got to pick a side, bro. You got to pick a side. And then Bank said exactly what I was thinking. Big Bang, he was like, listen, because he could see like Thug getting frustrated because this part of the interview was intense. I wish I would have just watched this hour. So he was like, how do we move forward? Basically, like he flat out said it. He was like, okay, with all that being said about how you feel and why you standing on your square and he a sucker and he betrayed you and then you raised him and all of that being said, how are we moving forward? Like you could be putting this energy into your music career. Like what is going on, right? And Young Thug, this was so sad to watch. He was like, I can't move forward. I ain't got my brothers and I'm fucked up. And because I was just listening to this, like I was listening to the interview and I had the ear part in my ear. But when he said that part, I turned to look at the phone because I wanted to look at his face. And yeah, I don't know. This was sad. What I did like was he was very vulnerable in his interview and very honest. And that's the one thing I've always said about men. I can respect a man who is honest. I don't care how bad it makes you look. I don't care how hurt you are. I don't care how much it's going to hurt other people. If you tell the truth, I can respect you. I cannot take, respect, or stomach a lying man. It really is a turnoff. So when he kept it real and said that, I looked at him a little different because he could have lied. He could have lied. So I respected the fact that he's saying how he genuinely feels. It just made me feel sad that he feels that way. It made me feel sad that he feels that way. He said, I lost my brother to betrayal. You know, he was like, when he signed that plea deal, I lost my brother. He betrayed me, and that made me feel sad because some of the way that he's speaking, you will really believe in his heart that he believed Gunna is like a blood relative, like his real brother. And that hurt me. That hurt me because you don't want to go through that with your siblings ever. And you definitely, I can imagine it's even worse with a friend. I had a situation like that 20 years ago. I'm going to get into that. But anyway, I was just looking like they need. See, luckily for me, I always got a backup plan because if you let these people, they will play and they will play and they will play, and I don't have time for that. So, anywho, like I was saying, I'm sorry about that, you guys. I'm so sorry. Hold on one sec. My mom is calling me. The computer is acting stupid. Hold on. Sorry, you guys. Okay, sorry about that. I'm so sorry about that, but I'm back in the building. Brooklyn, we back on the map. This thing ain't gonna play with me. Luckily, I had a backup plan because I meant to do something and I didn't do it. Anywho, like I was saying, I felt incredibly sorry for Thug. I did. I just respected his honesty and the fact that he was able to keep it real and say, listen, I'm fucked up behind this. I'm fucked up behind this. And what I liked about the theme of the interview was him expressing he was fucked up about it because he was also basically like trying to say to bank, like, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do after this shit? And I thoroughly understood that, right? Um, and the Vincent, again, he started crying, and that made me so very sad for him. It made me so very sad for him because again, you don't want to see that. You don't want that. You don't, it's sad. It makes you sad. It really does, right? Um, and he basically in the crying and the Vincent, he really got to speak his piece about like what he feel was going on and blah. And he was like, this ain't the first time you did that. You've been doing shit like this. He had been saying that the whole interview, but I felt like he wasn't gonna ever reveal what he said Gunna did, but he finally said it. He was like, he told on Duke. So I thought he was gonna kind of pretty much go into detail about what he told, but he never did. He never did. He just was like, this ain't the first time, and niggas is tired, and blah. He just was basically like going in, and then you could see the real tears. I felt bad. I felt bad. I felt so bad because, again, this is a very touchy situation, right? And then he said when somebody was, trying to shoot that gun and go to war with his family, he helped him hide. He just started running down everything he did for him. He was like, he felt betrayed. He was like, I'd rather gonna tell the ops where I live before he tell the cops. I'd rather be dead before I sit in jail. And I was like, wow, this was deep. This was deep. This was very deep. I think if you was only hearing things third party from other people and you never spoke to Thug, I think watching this interview could really give you insight on how he feel. Whether you agree with it or not, you're very much aware because you're getting it from him. So he was like, girl, he was really venting. And then he said to Bank, he was like, how the fuck I'm supposed to move on? And Thug is animated. He's like, so you telling me move on like woo. Like I just going on about my life. How the fuck I'm gonna do that? He was like, you don't want me to speak on the sucker shit that he did? Like, he got deep. He got this looked like, what it looked like? It looked like a Hill and Heart session. It looked like a Hill and Heart session. It's just that Big Bank, of course, is not the heart healer herself. Hello. But I mean, again, that's what those sessions look like. That's what those sessions look like. Because sometimes I'm sitting across from, or I'm sitting next to, or I'm on a FaceTime, or I'm on a Zoom with a person, and they damn near getting hostile with me because they looking like you telling me to grow through some shit that feels impossible for me, and you telling me I could do it. How the fuck I'm supposed to do that? But see, that's the beauty of Healing Hearts because you're giving all of these tools and tips to be able to push forward. And I felt like Bank was trying to do that, but he also kept giving his disclaimer, which I felt him. He was like, look, I ain't trying to be a nigga therapist, but I'm just, he was trying to give him tips. He really was, right? And he was like, Thug, you need healing. You need healing from this situation. And you know what he said back to me? He said, how the fuck I'm a heal in the midst of the fire? This got Thug fucked up. This got Thug fucked up. Like watching his reaction in real time. This got him fucked up. And see, all right, I'll get into that later. So anyway, he was sitting there talking, and he revealed. He said, "I'm hurt." He said, "I'm hurt." He said, "I'm gonna be honest with you. Sitting here talking to you is the first time that I'm having that revelation that I'm hurt. I thought I was good. I thought I was just angry. I thought I'm just looking at like, oh, I think he a suck ass nigga now. I'm realizing today, sitting across from you, saying it to you, I'm hurt. I'm hurt." He was like, "I give you another reason I'm hurt." He was like, even my father know how close we was. So he made a group chat. He was like, and this is in recent time. This has been since I've been home. This is with the number I have right now. He was like, he put us in a group chat and he said something. So he was like, he went to investigate like who number was that, and he said he found out it was Gunna number. He was like, and Gunna didn't say nothing. He said, I ain't say nothing either, and he ain't say nothing either. And he was like, he broke a man code. He said he broke a man code, so I ain't got shit I got to say to him. I ain't got shit I want to hear from him, right? But see, the only problem with that, Thug, is that a little teeny part of it seems like you want your ass kissed. Because in one breath, you telling me you don't want to hear shit from me, but then the other breath, you saying to me, but I should still be trying to tell you something. For what? Well, why should I try to have any conversation with you if that shit ain't going to penetrate? because everything has to be done with a purpose. So if I'm trying to converse with you and let you know what I did and how I feel, however you feel about me after I tell you, it's fine, but at least be able to hear me out. But if you don't want to hear me out, you want me to keep trying? Absolutely not. And that's for any human being. Nobody wants to continuously do that and not be received. But then the other part of me got what Thug was saying. Because to some degree, I'm like that as well. You know, when you fuck up, you make it right. You make it right. I don't understand how people walk these streets nowadays doing fuck shit and then being wrong and strong and standing on 810. And that shit is so whack to me. So I'm in agreement with Thug. Whether I want to hear the shit or not, my nigga, say something. Say something, because the way you carrying me make me feel like you don't give a fuck. You know? So I definitely feel Thug on that, but I think Thug, you're gonna have to pick a side because you can't be like, oh, I don't want to hear it, but you should still say it. I don't think niggas doing that, right? But I'll tell you what, I had this situation about 20 years ago, praise God, and it was my first learning experience when it comes down to dealing with like people outside of my family, right? Because in a lot of ways, I feel like from the way Thug described himself, in a lot of ways, we are like low-key similar. Because he was saying how serious he takes with relationships outside of family, right? Like if he take you in, it's like you his brother, and he want to do this and want to do that, and you can tell like he takes honor in that. Like that's something serious for him. And when I come from a family that is serious within the family, so of course when I went outside, it was serious. And one of my very first friends when I was younger, she and I went through a whole what I considered a betrayal situation, and she was moving like Gunna on some like, well, listen, I did it, and what's up? Like, you're not talking? Okay, we're not talking then, because I'm not gonna kiss your ass. I'm not gonna apologize for it. I did what I did, and so what? And for me, I struggled tremendously at that time with that, because what do you like? Why are you moving like so what? And again, those words weren't said verbatim, but the action showed it. There's no remorse, there's no care for what I did. It's just like, okay, well, I did what I did, and you done. Okay, so I'm gonna holler at you. So I understood where Thug was coming from. I'm a little deeper in my healing journey, and I pray for Thug. I hope he gets a Healing Heart session. I hope everybody could DM him and tell him to come to Healing Hearts, because Healing Hearts is another part of what saved me from being that type of person when things occur. It is what it is. It is what it is. If you showed up, Thug, in that relationship as the best man you could be to that man, if this way he want to move with you, if this the way he want to move with you as a person that knows everything you did for and with him, you gotta allow it. You gotta allow it. Mel Robbins got a book. I just listened to it this year on audio book. It's called Let Them. You have to allow it. I don't care how painful it is. You cannot control anybody else but yourself. So although whatever Gunna May did, the whole world could crucify him and Philly fucked up, that don't mean he's gonna change. And because you have no control over that, you have to let him. And Thug, it can't even comprehend that at this point. That's why I say he needed Healing Hearts. So anyway, and you know what else he said that made it even more sad? He was like, and even still right now, I would die for Gunna. Right now, still. Even with the way I'm feeling the sucker shit he did, I would die for Gunna. And I was like, yeah, Thug, this shit got you fucked up. You need Healing Hearts plus an extended layer of therapy after your Healing Hearts session, because this shit really got you fucked up. Like, you're really done for behind this. And it makes me sad because, I don't know, that's just me. I don't want to see nobody like this. Like, especially him being, he's so hurt that he don't have a choice but to be vulnerable about how he feels. So, I feel bad. I really, really do. Right. What I will say is, Thug, when motherfuckers show you who they are, you have to believe them. You have to believe them. And once again, that's why I genuinely wish that you had Operation Heal 100 Hearts, because I know it sounds crazy to say that in theory, but then there's steps that can be taken that will show you how to do it. And I definitely would love to do so. And I know these steps work because I've utilized them myself. So I know that they work. When people show you who they are, you have to believe them. And I mean, at every moment, at every time, people make choices and they have the right to do so. You have to let them. You have to, you know, and he's struggling. He's struggling. He was like, you know, this nigga ain't even pull up on my mother. And then he started naming people who be pulling up on the mother and dropping all these thousands and hundreds of $1,000s. And he was like, and you ain't even have the decency to do that. I said, at this point, Gunna, just rescind the plea deal. Just Gunna, 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 going back down there to the courts and tell them you changed your mind. YSL ain't a gang. You made that up. You was tired. You was sleepy. Tell them you ain't understand. You was discombobulated. Tell them something. Tell them something, Gunna, because Thug is going to lose his fucking mind, right? So then he was like, they came to him. Thug was like, they came to him with multiple plea deals, right? And he kept denying them because he was like, at the end of the day, I'm not saying that YSL was a gang and I'm not copping out to none of that fuck shit. But he was like, his lawyer came to him with a non-negotiable plea where he don't deal with the DA, he only deal with the judge. And he was like, his lawyer basically told him, shit they found through your crib, my nigga, you gonna get found guilty of that regardless. So how about you take what was found through your crib and everything else you tell him you ain't willing to take, and let's see what the judge say. Obviously, the judge agreed to that. Everything went as planned. So then Ben Bank was like, so what's your temperature with Lucci? So he was like, well, ain't no temperature with Lucci. He was like, you know, Lucci is a good family man. He's a good father. You know, I don't really want no smoke with him. I'm trying to chill. He was like, and really and truly, we did not have real smoke. He just fucked with Nut. Nut is his man, and he was being loyal to Nut. So he involved himself in some shit that ain't have nothing to do with him. You know, he was like, but I mean, it ain't about nothing, right? He was like, I don't want no smoke with him. I'm like, I'm trying to chill. Big Bank, you was giving every bit of Charlie Murphy, older uncle, and Young Thug, you was giving every bit of Offset ugly cousin. I swear to God, y'all go look at that interview. Anywho, then he started talking about Mo and Boo and all these people. I don't know the people, so I went past that part, right? So then he talked about Nut, you know, and then he started giving some closing remarks. And he was like, you know, he don't want no smoke with no rats. He said, anytime you break man code, I don't even want to converse with you. You got it. I'm good. I don't fuck with niggas that break man code. I don't fuck with niggas that be DL humping other niggas on the low. I don't fuck with niggas that rat to the police. All that is breaking man code to me. So I ain't with the fuck shit. I said, I hear you, Thug. He said he don't want no smoke with Rollo. He don't want no smoke with P. He wishing everybody peace and blessings and love. He said, you know, he realized how blessed he is to have survived this situation. He apologized for being chatty patty. So then Banks said, well, now look at here, Slime. Okay, look at here now. You admitted that you fucked up, right? You said that, right? You also admitted that you need healing. You gonna get healing, right? You said that, right? He said, yeah. He said, well, now we the people, we gonna hold your feet to the fire because you have to do the self-work. You have to do the self-work. He said, I want to tell you something. You know why you got to do the work? And I'm telling you this because this is my own experience. We come from the streets. He said, everybody that was in the streets is you're automatically fucked up. He said, because ain't nothing out there but heartbreak. He was like, so there's an intense level of therapy and love and everything else that's needed when you come from that component alone. He was like, so we the people, we holding your feet to the fire. Get your therapy. Get what you need because you fucked up. You fucked up, right? So that I'm not gonna lie. I caught a soft spot for Young Thug. I'm not even gonna lie. I caught a soft spot for Young Thug because again, me being who I am, right? That's why I started doing Operation Heal 100 Hearts. I just, it's in my DNA not to want to see people hurt, you know, and that is what keeps me from doing a lot of fuck shit. When things happen in my life, people ask me like, you ain't say nothing and you ain't do. No, it's just that's just not who I am, right? So whenever I observe a person who is growing through something so bad that again that interview was a good ass interview. In my opinion, I probably wouldn't have watched all 3 of them fucking hours had I known. I probably would have just fast forward to the last hour, but I'm happy I did because I got to hear the whole entire story. And remember, I didn't keep up with the YSL case. I don't know what goes on with YSL, so I needed to hear the whole story. I think that this situation broke him. And I don't think it's just Gunna. I think it's spending all that time in jail. I think because remember, you know what they said? They said when you leave a man alone to sit and think, you know, it's hard for them, right? Because then a lot of shit comes up. So he brought up his brother death. So I imagine when he was sitting in jail, all of these thoughts was able to be at the surface because I'm just here alone with alone time, idle mind. So he just there, so I think he's fucked up. And I think on top of that, with people doing fuck shit, it really, really fucked him up. And it made me sad to see, but I did love the interview because he didn't come up there trying to be holier than thou. He didn't come up there trying to show stop. He didn't come up there trying to stun or pretend. No, he laid all his shit bare. He laid all his shit bare to a point he started crying. That's how real this interview was for me. He said it. He said, I ain't never got no money with you, but just man to man. I respect you. He said that the big bank, I respect you. Which is why I said, let me come on your platform and tell my story. Which is why I'm sitting here asking you, what the fuck y'all want me to do? I'm fucked up. And you as my OG, I'm looking to you for advice. What am I supposed to do? Come to Hill of Hearts, young thug. Come on to Hill of Hearts, baby, because I feel so bad. Bring Mariah with you. Let me help y'all relationship. Because you, Lord, thug, this tore you up. This tore you up, thug. This tore you up. So, he was asking Big Bang. He was like, seeing as though I was here, I was vulnerable, I expressed all the things I need and all the healing I need. He was like, do you think it would be a good thing to let the public be a part of my healing process as well? And Big Bang was like, absolutely. Absolutely. He said, first of all, because you can't do it alone. You can't do it alone, right? He was like, and all of this is a learning experience. You grew from this, whether you know it or not. And he was like, that gives other people some insight and perspective to things that's going on, and it helps them grow. He was like, and then on top of that, at the end of the day, some shit got to change. It got to change. It got to change. So that was pretty much the end of the interview, right? 3 hours. It was 3 hours. I watched all 3, right? But I just broke it up into 3 because I was like, now what? They too country for me. I could not take. They is too country for me, and both of them was country. And then again, like I said, Charlie Murphy, Offset, off brands of them. I wasn't here for that part. But I did enjoy the interview because I enjoyed 2 grown-ass men having real talk. And I felt like with Big Bang, I didn't feel like he was taking no sides. I didn't feel like he was being biased. I didn't feel like he was being phony. I felt like he was being genuine with him. I felt like he was being very genuine with him. And I believe that what made me enjoy it even more is because Big Bang did something I consider myself to do. Big Bang created the space. I always tell y'all I'm the space creator. Big Bang created the space, hence my Hell and Hearts mixes I used to have, where he felt the need to be vulnerable and the comfort to do that because the space was created. The ego was let down. You can be cool here. I ain't judging you, little bro. So I could appreciate what Big Bang did. I could appreciate Young Thug return and serve. Because at the end of the day, that interview, first of all, wouldn't have lasted 3 hours if he didn't. And second of all, it would have been some fuck shit. It would have just been all clickbait and bullshit. And people got it. It was very, very genuine. I really, really enjoyed, right? This is what I will say as my conclusion. The moral of the story here is that you have to align yourself with people who have a similar moral compass. Let me say that again for the folks in the back who did not hear me. You have to align yourself, and this goes for everybody, not just Young Thug, with people who have a similar moral compass. And the reason why I say that is because if you don't, the things that they don't hold as valuable, but you do, whenever they do those things, you're going to always have a problem with it because it means something to you and it doesn't mean shit to them. Okay? Let me give you guys an example. Years ago, I was in a crew, right? In that crew, it was a young lady there who had a family member who, for lack of a better term, I'll use the word promiscuous, right? And because of that, we had our wires got crossed where we dealt with the same guy. And for me, I was appalled by it because I looked at it as like we're friends / family. I would never do that, yada, 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 right? That's not how the other person viewed it. I removed myself from that relationship altogether. Because what would end up happening is this would happen again and again and again and again. And every single time, I would have a reaction to it because I'm not happy with it. It's not something that I would do, right? once again, like I was telling Young Thug, you don't have control over anybody else. So I can't make you see things the way that I see them. I can't make you understand. I cannot do that. I only have control over me. So let me remove myself from this situation and let me now put myself in a situation where I'm hanging with women who have a similar mindset and a similar moral compass. So therefore, I don't have to fucking explain why fuck shit is fuck shit. They just automatically know it's fuck shit. Okay? So that's the moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen, behind this whole situation with Young Thug and Gunna. And I would like to tell Thug that the bottom line is this: whatever happened already happened, Thug. You gotta let that go, beloved. You have to. You're gonna drive yourself crazy. Let that go. Let that go, right? But moving forward, Slime, let me say this to you, Slime. Moving forward, when you develop your new friend circle, because you will, don't be cut off to having friendships, because that's a lot of what people do too. I see men do it, I see women do it. You get into a relationship with a person, they fuck over you. I ain't never dating this type again. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. We work smarter, not harder. Right? So the only thing you have to do is now moving forward when you build your new friendships, because it seems like you take pride in building relationships, stuff. It seems like you do. It seems like that's something that you enjoy doing. You just have to build the right ones. And from this situation, you learned what the right ones look like. Now all you have to do is apply it, brother. But you ain't getting on my game for free. You got to pay, my nigga. So come get your Hit a Heart session. In any event, ladies and gentlemen, that was the recap of the Young Thug Big Bank interview. I truly, truly enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I would advise you guys to go watch it. But if you're not in the mood, watch my reviews. I would like for you to watch it because I like when people watch the actual show and then watch my review, and then we can kind of talk about, oh, girl, I didn't see it that way. Or, oh, I didn't even notice that. Oh, girl, you missed that part. Like, I enjoy that. But in any event, sometimes people don't feel like doing all that. They just want to hear the synopsis of it. So you can always watch my recaps. But I really, really enjoyed this interview. I think it shed a lot of light on relationships, in present day, and how we have to navigate them, between men, between women, So I think this could be a deeper conversation. And I would love to have Thug and Gunna on my podcast, and we discuss that coming soon. In any event, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Please do not forget to hit the thumbs up on this video. I truly, truly appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and enjoy the rest of your day. Mwah.